Hydreigon EX feels like it was made for the current format, and I can't believe I don't see more people trying to play this more often. With Manaphy out of rotation, there are very few things keeping Hydreigon from using its devastating second attack, Obsidian. For 4 complicated energies, you can attack for 130 and also put 130 damage on 2 benched Pokemon. This is the perfect number to take out some popular Pokemon like Munkidori, Duraludon, or even Brute Bonnet. In some cases, if your opponent can't knock out your Hydreigon in one hit, you get to attack twice in a row with Obsidian, and the game is over. Ideally, you'll start with a Budew in your active spot while you evolve and get your energy attached, and then retreat out of the way for free once you're ready. And the main draw engine I'm going to try out today is the new Zoroark EX with the Joker ability that lets you discard 1 card to draw 2 more. This deck has typically played a Pidgeot as a way to search for cards, and that works well, but it can be tough to set up, and you can get into a tough spot if someone snipes your Pidgeot early on. Zoroark doesn't have the luxury of picking the exact card you need, but it's easier to set up as a stage 1, and you can also put down several to draw up to 4 cards per turn, so we'll see how it goes. Another build I considered for this deck was the Noctowl draw engine with a Cornerstone Ogerpon. This deck is basically stopped by a Farigiraf EX alone, so I considered adding a Cornerstone Ogerpon to fix that. With a basic Tera Pokemon you can add the Owls, but then you have to put in a Fanrotom and maybe even a Ditto, and it starts to get difficult to fit other things in, so I might try that in our next video instead. Make sure to subscribe if you're interested in seeing that. I have a Munkidori in the deck since we're already using Dark Energy, and Munkidori is so good when you're coming up just short of a knockout. Pecharunt is great for switching your Hydreigons around, and for a big cleanup attack at the end of the game. Pecharunt will also poison the active Pokemon when switching it in, so it only seems right to include a Binding Mochi for 40 more damage. And speaking of poison, we also have Janine in the deck to attach several Dark Energy. If you attach an energy to your active in this way, it also poisons your active and allows for another Binding Mochi play. We have a Crispin in the deck to help find the energy types we need for Obsidian, and a Colress's Tenacity to help search for our A-Spec, which is Neo Upper Energy. Jacq and Brock Scouting are also included to help fish out the Pokemon we need most, and some other tools we've thrown in are 2 TM Evos just in case we prize one, and a Counter Gain to help attack sooner if we fall behind. For energy, I found a good balance at 5 Dark, 1 copy of both Psychic and Metal for the Obsidian attack, and again, the Neo Upper Energy. And as we switch over to our examples and gameplay, I wanted to say thank you so much for helping us pass 1,000 subscribers here on the channel. It's an insane number to me. I just like Pokemon and I enjoy editing videos, and it means so much to me that people actually come here to hang out and talk about the game. Okay, enough sappiness, just thank you. So in our first matchup here, we'll be going against Hopsation, which I see all the time on the ladder. They go ahead and get their Hops Band attached and energy and pass. So nothing on the bench, and it comes back to us. So we have just a Nest Ball in our hand. Going second, I can use a supporter. It would be really nice to have an Arven or something to start us out here, but no Arven. So we'll just get a lone Deino just to make sure we get that down, and then Iono to get something else. I put down the Town Store in case I can get to a TM Evo, or I need to get to one, but I end up drawing one straight into my hand. So I really didn't need to put down this Town Store, but we'll go ahead and grab something out of here anyways, just to kind of thin out the deck a little bit and see where we want to go from here. Unfortunately, there is no energy in our hand and no way to put down other Pokemon. So next time I can put down the Artazon if I want to get out something else. Maybe Crispin to actually get some energy out so I can TM Evo. But in our first turn, we weren't able to get to as many things as I would have liked. Our opponent here is setting up their second Hopsation, throwing away some Metal Energy, and we'll see which way they want to play it. A lot of the times this deck will be played with an Archaludon or something. I think that was Fezandipiti, which seems pretty early to put Fez down. Seeing that I haven't taken a knockout or anything, and that could be an easy 2-prizer. But they just go ahead and put some damage down on us and on one bench Pokemon. So seeing that they're just attaching a single energy and I'm not seeing any Duraludon, I'm thinking they probably want to play the spread version of this deck. So they'll spread a bunch of energy around and then use their TM de-evolution and knock everything out. So we ended up getting ourselves into a Buddy Poffin, put some new things down, and now I think I'm going to take a turn to try and evolve some stuff. So we'll use Crispin to actually get some energy out. I think I put the Dark Energy on the one on the bench because that's the one I actually want to start building up towards attacking. I figure this one in the active is, working towards being knocked out anyways. I consider putting down Artazon, but I think they could also use it. I don't really want to give them that. So just go ahead and use our TM Evo, get out our Zoroark for some draw support. And at some point we got to a Zweilous on the same turn, so I was able to evolve into a Zweilous and then use TM Evo to get to our Hydreigon on the same turn, which is great, without even needing a rare candy, so love to see that. And we also have a Counter Gain in our hand, just in case we want to be able to put that on our Hydreigon for an easy first Crushing Headbutt attack. Seeing that there are 3 2-prizers on the other side here, if I could do 2 Obsidian attacks in a row, that would be great. It doesn't look like they're going to be taking, you know, one big knockout, so I might actually have a chance to get the 2 Obsidians in a row. But when my first Pokemon gets knocked out here, I start thinking of the Pecharunt play. You know, I can do 240 damage with Crushing Headbutt if I have a Pecharunt to poison myself and then a Binding Mochi at the same time. I go ahead and use this Professor's Research and end up getting both of those cards, but the thing is, I already attached this Counter Gain. And completely forgot about that. Can't have more than one tool. So I should have waited on that Counter Gain and then just used this energy in my hand, and that play would have worked out. But we're able to work around it. We find a different way to do it, and maybe we can save this Binding Mochi play for later in the game. But we're thinking on our feet here. We're going to use this Ultra Ball. I'm thinking what else I want to put down, but I have a Dark Energy in my hand, making Munkidori the perfect way to get across this. So we're going to use their spread damage against them now with Munkidori. Whenever they put 30 on our bench, or something like that, we can just send it right back to them, and it ends up being the perfect number for Hopzation. So we go ahead and use Munkidori. We still switch our Hydreigon into the active using Pecharunt, and then go ahead and attack for 200. So we discard a couple of cards. I think that was a Duraludon, so they do have one of those in the deck. We take our 2 prize cards, get a Brock Scouting, and a Zweilous. So we are going to have poison damage on ourselves. We can use Munkidori to get rid of that if we need to, 30 energy at a time. And at the moment, our Counter Gain, since we're ahead in prize cards, will not work. So we'll see if they are able to take out 2 prize cards and put us back behind, or if I need to find myself another energy. But either way, I have an Arven in hand, which is nice if we get to keep this hand, so we'll see. We also have an Zoroark on the bench, so we can draw a couple more cards with that when needed. They go ahead and use the Town Store and whiff. There's no tool that they need. They Arven for a couple cards here. Probably another one of those Hops Bands and a switch. Oh, just a switch. And they go ahead and put in the Hopzation that doesn't have the tool on it. So they move damage around in this way, still targeting that Munkidori. And we come back to us. So we draw a Boss's Orders into our hand, and I know that they, for some reason, didn't want that Hopzation with the tool on it to get attacked here. So I'm thinking of using the Boss's Orders on that, which is probably a little overkill. Thinking that back now. There aren't too many Pokemon we need right now, so I get rid of the Brock Scouting. We're able to draw ourselves into an energy with the end Zoroark, so that was nice. Go ahead and Munkidori some of the damage off of ourselves. Now with the band that Hop has on him and maybe a Postwick, he's able to do 270 damage with his second attack. So that could actually knock us out here after we have 10 more points of damage. We could be in a little bit of trouble needing to set up another attacker here. So we'll see what our opponent's able to do on this turn. But once it goes back to them, I'll have 60 damage on me. We'll just need 270, which is very possible for them to get to with a Hopzation and also a Duraludon on the bench. So they just have 2 cards in hand. They go ahead and flip the script. That Fezandipiti could also be a target at some point if we wanted it to. So they put down a Postwick. They're doing 270 damage now with their second attack. If they can get there, they go ahead and get rid of an Archaludon, which makes me think they have another one in hand already. And they get 2 more energy. So they attach from hand. There goes their Archaludon. And this Hydreigon is toast. So we will not have an attack on our next turn unless we can find a Neo Upper Energy. Or we'll have to, stall for a turn before we're able to attack again. But we have a bit of a lead, so we can try and figure this out. I go ahead and put the end Zoroark in front of them anyways, because if I can get to what I need here, like an evolution and then the Neo Upper Energy, we'll be able to end the game on this turn, but I'm not sure if we're going to get that. I consider thinning this Budew out, but then I realized it would go onto my bench. I don't think I want that on my bench right now. So I just go ahead and use Zoroark to get rid of that Budew that was in my hand. Draw a couple more cards. Okay, get an Arven and a Colress's Tenacity. And I think about using this to grab the energy. But if I do that, then I won't be able to find myself a Hydreigon to evolve. So I either get the Hydreigon in this turn, or I get the energy I need to attack with it. So I end up going with the Hydreigon in this turn, and just hope they leave my hand so that I can get the energy on the next turn, or find a way to draw into it. But we will not have the attack that we were looking for on this turn. Go ahead and use the Ultra Ball that we just grabbed. I believe, since I won't need this rare candy and a second Arven, I get rid of those. We think about it for a while, if we want to keep this rare candy or not. I was considering if I need that Binding Mochi, and just in case we need it for an attack of 240 damage, we keep it. But we go ahead and evolve. We send some damage back to this Hopzation so that it's an easy knockout in the future. And then we just switch into a single Prizer, so our end Zoroark isn't just sitting right in front of them. It does poison it, but I also don't care if they knock this out. So we take a nice look at our Colress's Tenacity. That will find our Neo Upper Energy, and the next turn, and we'll see what our opponent wants to do. They still have an attack of 270 damage, so I don't believe they're going to be able to knock out my Hydreigon if they are able to use a Boss's Orders or something to grab it. I know they have that Hops Dubwool as well on their bench, or it's a Wooloo right now, but if they turn it into a Dubwool, that works like a Boss's Orders, and they can switch something else in. They go ahead and Iono, so I lose my Colress's Tenacity, which is a bummer. But luckily we have a Professor's Research and also an End's Zoroark to be able to draw a bunch of cards and see if we can find our Neo Upper Energy. Our opponent uses a Night Stretcher. See what they want to grab with that, whether it's an energy or something else. They might be setting up an Archaludon attack. Go ahead and just Insta-Strike, take a single prize knockout, and put it back to me. So they know I need quite a bit of energy to have an attack here, and we'll see what we can get into. So I have a Night Stretcher in hand, a Professor's Research, and now an Earthen Vessel. I now have the thought that I don't know if the Neo Upper Energy is even in my deck. I haven't actually prize checked this entire game, so I'm trying to think if I want to just gamble on it and grab another energy right now, or take a look. I end up just taking a look, doing a little risky here with the Earthen Vessel, get rid of the Night Stretcher, and luckily the Neo Upper Energy is in the deck. So now that I know this, I can do my best to try and draw it into my hand. We take the other energy and get rid of it. I figure if I draw into another Night Stretcher or something, I'll be able to get that energy back, or a Dark Energy. A Crispin will only get us one energy for the attack, so I need to use this Professor's Research and see what we can draw into. Let's see if we can get it. Munkidori first, just to get rid of the energy or the damage. Put it on Fezandipiti, so that's also one Crushing Headbutt away from a win. And luckily we draw into it, slap that down on Hydreigon, and take the win. And this is why I kind of want to try out Owls when most people use like the Pidgeot or something, so we can find that exact card we need right when we need it. But it still worked out this time. And we'll move to another game where we get to use Obsidian a little bit more than we did in the first game. We didn't really need to work towards it in Obsidian, since a Munkidori and a Crushing Headbutt attack got us up to 240 against Hopzation, or 230. But in this game, we're going against Gholdengo, so we'll need a little bit more. We start out with two Buddy Poffins in our hand, which is great. We have a Zorua in the active, so we go ahead and get two more Deino, one more Zorua, and a Budew. And if we were going second, this would be perfect to get to a TM Evo, but unfortunately we're going first, so we'll just sacrifice this Budew and move on from there. So yeah, we have an Arven in hand in case in our next turn we want to get to a TM Evo. We also have energy in our hand, and then we also have a Neo Upper Energy, so if we can get ourselves straight into a Hydreigon with a rare candy or something, we can do a Crushing Headbutt attack right away on our next turn, depending on how things play out. We do have a Zoroark EX in hand as well, which is great. So we'll have a couple extra cards we can draw as long as we don't get Iono'd or something like that. But we'll see what our opponent does. They put down a couple Gimmighoul, which is great if we are able to get to an Obsidian attack at some point and they have Gimmighoul on the bench. We can just go ahead and take those out. But they go ahead and use Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking. They'll put two cards on the top of their deck, and I'm assuming this is the end of their turn, and they'll just draw into those in their next turn. when they can go ahead and evolve their Gimmighoul into Gholdengo. So yep, they're going to do this minor errand running, which I think is energy. I think they grab a couple energy here. Or is it Pokemon? It's energy. So they grab a couple of those for their next turn. They'll most likely be able to attack. So we have a Zweilous. Go ahead and evolve one of those since we know it won't hurt. If we can get ourselves into a rare candy, go ahead and get the Zoroark going as well. Do a little trade ability. Get rid of the Janine's Secret Art since we have Crispin in hand. And get straight to a Tera Orb, which is perfect. If we can just get to a rare candy from here, we can evolve this Deino into a Hydreigon quickly and easily. I think I get this TM Evo just so I can kind of thin out my hand a little bit. Seeing that I'm going to go straight into Hydreigon here, I'm not too worried about a TM Evo in this play. You know, I have an Zoroark, I have Hydreigon. We can work towards the rest as the game goes on. We can try and get ourselves into an attack here. So we go ahead and use Rare Candy. We have our Neo Upper Energy in hand. And then in our next turn, we're just one Crispin away, which we have in our hand from using Obsidian. So we can go ahead and knock out this Gimmighoul. It does put them down one prize card, which opens up things like Counter Catcher and all that, but I know they're going to have to evolve on the next turn, attach a Metal Energy, and then we'll see if they have like Energy Search Pro or something. If they have Energy Search Pro, then this Hydreigon is gone, and that's a bummer. We'll have to start over from the beginning with our energy, and it is very possible, so we'll see what they can get into here. They have a Fezandipiti to draw 3 more cards. Go ahead and coin bonus, so they have all the cards that they had put on top of their deck with Cypher Maniac in the last turn. 3 more with Fez. What comes next? Let's see. Night Stretcher will probably get another Gimmighoul back, the one we just knocked out. And if we can Obsidian in this next turn, we can go ahead and take that out. Superior Energy Retrieval. So that makes me think they might not have a way to get to Energy Search Pro. If they're going ahead and getting energy back, they didn't have that much in the discard pile, it was just 1. So I don't know if that's really very worth it to spend an Energy Search Pro, discard 2 cards to get 1 energy back. Looks like they're going to make it rain here as well, so they didn't even put that Gimmighoul down, probably because they know if I Obsidian I can just take it back, and they go ahead and put 250 on us. So it would be nice to have that Munkidori down at the moment, but like we said before, we're 1 Crispin away from doing an Obsidian attack, and I know I'm not going to knock them out either way here. So if I'm not going to knock them out, I might as well set them up for a future knockout. They go ahead and give me a thumbs up there. I'm feeling a little cocky, they like what's going on. But we're going to Crispin here, put those last 2 energy on, and there could be something here about me just setting up my next Hydreigon, maybe putting 200 damage on Gholdengo, but knowing that Fezandipiti is a little bit out of that 200 range as well, and I don't have a Munkidori down, I just go ahead and Obsidian. I really wish they did put that Gimmighoul down in the last turn, so I get a knockout here. And now at least their Fezandipiti and their Gholdengo are in range to be knocked out by a Crushing Headbutt. I don't have to use Obsidian again if they knock this out, which they most likely will be able to. It's pretty easy to get to 2 more energy. They do 100 damage with Gholdengo. But yeah, they'll have to completely set up a new Gholdengo as well once we knock this one out on our next turn. And I go back and forth on if I should have just used Crushing Headbutt there and saved or started building up some energy on my Zweilous that's on the bench. But this kind of forces them to take out the Hydreigon in front of them. I put 130 damage on 2 of their Pokemon. If they leave this here and maybe boss something else up, that would be a little bit more impactful, then I'm just going to have another Obsidian attack and take 4 prize cards. So this makes sure they have to take out this Hydreigon in front of them, and it also sets up Fezandipiti for a little bit later in the game to be able to be taken out. Since we don't have this Munkidori down, I would have to spend some time putting that on the bench and then finding the energy to go on that as well as the Hydreigon. So I feel like you could go either way really here, but they'll go ahead and make it rain with their 2 energy that we saw them bring into their hand and knock out our Hydreigon. And now we are also behind in prize cards. So that's the nice thing about putting them on odd prize cards to begin with, is if we can get ourselves to a counter gain, we have a little bit quicker of an attack. So we promote Budew for a free retreat depending on what we're able to find in this turn. We draw into a Night Stretcher, which could get us an energy or a Pokemon back or something like that. We go ahead and flip the script since we took a knockout. It's not able to find the Hydreigon or a Janine or a Crispin or something like that that would get us 2 energy. So we go ahead and trade, and I choose the Munkidori, which, watching back, I don't know if it was the right choice. I also don't know if I saw that I just got a Hydreigon in my hand, because I go ahead and Night Stretcher for another one. So I don't know what was happening on this turn, watching it back. A little bit weird. We end up getting to the pieces that we need because we have a Town Store as well. So I don't know why I chose another Hydreigon there, but we get a Counter Gain and an energy in our hand, so we'll be able to Crushing Headbutt, and then they won't have an attack on their next play, which is wonderful that they didn't put another Gimmighoul down as they were knocking us out in that last turn. We go ahead and get another Deino, and then I guess this way I'm just one rare candy away from another Hydreigon or something like that. I'm still questioning why I got another Hydreigon there with our Night Stretcher. But we go ahead and Crushing Headbutt. They'll have to promote the Fezandipiti, so either that retreats for them to put something else in, or we just kind of knock them out here. So now it is back to their turn. All they have is a Fezandipiti with 130 damage on it, and we'll see if they're able to get some Gimmighoul down. So unfortunately, I don't think we can get to Obsidian in our next turn. We're going to be using Crushing Headbutt no matter what it is. They go ahead and use their Cypher Maniac's code breaking before they flip the script so they can draw exactly what they need. But yeah, I have plenty of cards in my hand, which is nice with all of the draw support in this deck between flip the script and end Zoroark. I could also set up another end Zoroark that's been a Zorua this whole time. So I could, draw pretty much into any card that I need here. I am ahead in prize cards now though, so that Counter Gain no longer works for me. So if I'm able to use a Crispin or a Janine or something like that, the most I can add in this next turn is 2 more energy to myself, so no Obsidian, to put down 2 more Gimmighoul and start working back. So they have a Jamming Tower here, which doesn't really do anything because I'm ahead in prize cards anyway. That would work again if they were to take out my Fezandipiti or an Zoroark or a 2-prizer or something like that. But we'll see if they retreat this Fezandipiti. I think my best plan on the next turn might be an Iono Fezandipiti knockout. Drops them down to 4 cards. They can probably just use coin bonus if they're able to evolve their Gimmighoul to draw some more cards, but hey, it's better than nothing. We also have a ton of energy in our hand at the moment, so we just got ourselves this metal energy. Might as well use it over the dark energy in case we can build back to an Obsidian at some point. And I really just need a Zweilous here, but I guess I can get another Zoroark if I go ahead and get Jacq. We don't have any Zweilous left, so I'll go ahead and take this last Hydreigon out, I guess just to thin out of the deck. Then we Night Stretcher, try and get a Zweilous, but I guess they're all being used or prized or something like that, so don't find what I'm looking for there. Go ahead and just grab this Psychic Energy. Again, if we're able to attach it in the future in some way, then maybe a Janine to attach to our active. We do have an Obsidian attack. But we put this and Zoroark EX down, draw a few more cards just to see what else we can find out of the deck. Go ahead and get rid of the Counter Catcher because I don't really think I'm going to be too far behind if I take another 2 prize cards here. And just go ahead and Crushing Headbutt. Take out the Fezandipiti. I probably should have Iono'd there, but I don't know. I have a huge hand as well, so I don't want to bring myself down to 3 cards if I have all this stuff in hand. And there's the Zweilous. And now we'll see what our opponent is able to do. It would be a tall order for them to be able to get an Energy Search Pro here and get everything out of the deck to get all of the energy they need. But I don't think we've seen that card yet, so it might be possible. Unless that's how they took out their first attack. No, they went 250 and then another 100. So they haven't used Energy Search Pro yet, but they would have to get a bunch out of the discard pile, as well as get some more energy out of the deck to get the 7 energy needed to take out this Hydreigon. So we're feeling pretty good. They just go ahead and mirror Errand Running, and that'll be the end of the game with one last Crushing Headbutt. So let me know what you think. I actually really like using Zoroark to draw so many cards per turn. I have a big hand in a lot of these games, so it's working out. I can't find the exact card I need, but let me know what you think in the comments. You're still here? It's over. Go watch another video. Go.